and has anger, is bitter about something, but they are not talking about it. That is resentment. Why women sometimes don't express it directly is what we are going to be dealing with. The fear of conflict, the emotional fatigue, the past experiences of being ignored. Like, I'll tell you of a story. There is this woman that was in a relationship with a guy, and she told the guy how things, I mean, you come clean and you tell them your past relationships, but just talking about that, the man started, resenting her, saying, you have been wild, you've seen the world too much, you need, he held back from there on. So the woman from that time on changed and kept most of the things to herself. Why? Because if she knew something and it seemed like she knows more than the guy, then the guy would judge. So now we are going to be going down slow and easy on those topics. Now we are going to talk about the silent bank account of emotional debt. Every unresolved hurt is a deposit. If you hurt me the other day and we didn't talk about it, if you said something, you did something and I didn't say anything in return, that is a deposit on the hurting account. And I'm hurting. Before you know it, I'm actually I'm distant from you and you're wondering what really happened. Now, imagine she asks you to help her with kids after work. Yeah, those of you are already in a relationship and have kids. She asks you to help her with kids after work and you say, I'm tired, we can talk later. That might be fine once. But if it happens repeatedly, you're sending the silent message. My comfort is more important than your exhaustion. Yeah, so you're sending a silent message to her. So how do we get past all that and have healthy relationships? Movement deposits a little coins into the bank of resentment. Like, she started off saying, can you help me with the kids? And then she says, can you help me fix breakfast? And you don't. All those are deposits. They may seem like coins, but trust me, they grow and become really heavy for a relationship that it can't stand. Yeah. Over months or years, that bank account grows. Trust me, it does grow. And when it grows, I hope you're ready for those deposits that you've been putting, because if you're not, then that relationship is gone. But you can save it if you realize some of these things earlier on. Now, this is something I want you to think about, to think back. Has there ever been a time, for those of you who are in relationships, where she got quiet instead of telling you she's upset? Not that time, guys. Drop a yes in the chat if you've seen that before. As in, she grew quiet, all of a sudden she's not bubbly, she's not talking to you, and she's not excited about what you're talking about. Not those moments, because trust me, they grow. And before you know it, she's packing and leaving. Like I said, it's like that tire that has a leak, that if you don't patch up, you just wake up one day and it's a flat tire and you can't take it anywhere because it's flat, unless you change it. But if you patch it in time, you continue on your way. But if you don't, my goodness, those things can really turn sour so quick. Now, the root cause of her resentment is what we are going to talk about today: emotional neglect. I will say that and say it slowly: emotional neglect. You're physically present, but emotionally absent. You are there with her, but emotionally you're not. When she needs you to be there, to be supportive, to just talk to her, hold her hand, dream together, you're not. You're physically present, but emotionally you're not. That can cause resentment. So guys, if you've seen those telltale signs, do something, patch up that tire before it is too late and you have yourself a flat tire that can't go anywhere. And unequal load. Not guys, I said unequal load. She feels she's carrying more responsibility. When I say unequal load, like many times guys tend to think that because you go off to work and bring in this money, you don't need to help around the house. Guys, I'm telling you, housework is a full-time job. You work from morning to the time you go to bed, especially if there are kids in play. But if there is no kids, then it may be okay. But if there are kids in play, it's a full-time job. You wake up to prepare breakfast, then lunch. In between there are snacks. There's someone who has fallen down. There is homework. There is dropping to school kids. There is bring them back home. There's helping them shower. There is all these things. And before you know it, it's dinner time. You need to cook and clean. And again, you need to be a happy girlfriend or partner or wife. That is full time, guys. Now, an equal load is what I'm talking about that could cause resentment. If she feels like she's carrying more responsibility, like house bills, the house, the kids, the emotional labor, emotions, all these, having to be there for everyone and still stay strong, having to be there for the kids and for you supportively. Oh my goodness, that can also trigger resentment. So try and balance it out. If you've been one who has not been caring, all you're concerned about is making sure you've bought the food, that is not it. You've paid the rent. That's not enough. Try and pinch in. It will help bridge and bind you more together than one person having to deal with everything. And broken promises. I'll talk about broken promises in detail. Repeated patterns of saying you will change, but you don't follow through. Those ones also hurt. Guys, this person may start resenting you. Broken promises. You promised to do something. You promise to change. You promise to be there, but you're not. You promise to change, but you do not change. I'm going to be doing something different. All along, we've been reading the messages concurrently, but this time round, I'll open a slot where we'll read some of your messages. Otherwise, for easy communication, we'll open up the lines for the comments. We're in the middle of the chat, so bear with me, guys. I'm seeing your texts and comments, and I'm going to have time to read them. But for now, we're just going through what it is that this topic is about today. Now, like I said, broken promises. You promise to do something for her, but you don't do it. You promise to take her somewhere. You promise to change. You promise to help. You promise to be there, but you don't. All these things can cause resentment, slowly eating up at our relationships. It starts eating up the relationship. And before you know it, you don't have anyone there for you anymore, because all she would consider you is someone who has always promised to be there, someone who is, he's all talk and no action. So in order for our relationships to survive, guys, we need to be people who keep our promises. You say you promise to do something, do it. Don't, give excuses after excuses and think, because once she pulls away, you will see she's not bothered anymore by your promises. She's not asking, she's not engaged, she's not impressed, simply because you've hurt her so much to leave room for you to hurt her anymore. Now, the lack of appreciation is also another thing that causes resentment. She feels invisible. I mean, she does all these things for you, and probably your house or your family or, your marriage, and you don't seem to notice it. She feels invisible, like she's there, but she's not. There's a tendency of men, giving so much attention to the women out there, and the woman in your life, whether she's your girlfriend, whether she's your partner, whether she's your wife, you neglect her. It's really, really, really not good, because it's one of those things that causes resentment and also breakups eventually. If you are with someone, that same attention you give to other people, I know we are not the same and we change over time. Like you found me when I was younger, now I've grown, or you found me smaller, now I've gained some weight, or you found me when I'm big, now I've lost some weight, and now you're paying more attention to other people. That hurts. We shouldn't love on the outward only, but we should also love that person that we are with on the inside, because it's that same person that you fell in love with at some point. I know there are people who I've met who keep on saying, well, I don't know even where I was looking when I got interested in you or when I fell for you. It's my Wi-Fi. You must have done something. Guys, sorry about that glitch. I hope we are still on and it's still running. There was a glitch for a bit. Like if someone has been there for you, pay them the same attention you were giving to them before. I know, like, when you have clothes, say like a piece of cloth, you have it, and after some time, it's not so bright anymore. It's not so, catchy anymore. But if you take good care of it, it would still be the same cloth that you saw. Well, not as bright, not as colorful or whatever, but it's still the same cloth that you fell in love with. So if you take care of her and really pay close, if she's gained some weight, you help her when she goes off to the gym, or encourage her to go to the gym, or even to exercise from home, and get her back to that shape that you wanted before, than